Hello, I'm Matt Stonecash, and I'm in the Professional Writing Graduate Program at the University of Cincinnati. And rather than try to explain what that is, I thought I would just sort of show you some of the documents that we create and talk about those a little bit. So the first thing I wanted to show you is this infographic that I created, and this could go along. You see these a lot now in magazine articles, newspaper articles, or it might just be by itself on Instagram, something like that. Just something to try to get a reader interested in showing information in a kind of a fun way. This is a poster that I created for the Irish Heritage Center, and it's kind of an example of promotional writings. This is just meant to get the word out about an event. And we do a little bit of graphic design in our program because writers are frequently collaborating with graphic designers. It's helpful to know the basics of how that works. The next thing I have is a quick guide. If you're learning to use a new software, it might be helpful to have something that you just kind of print out and leave on your desk, or you've got it sort of pinned to your desktop on your computer. And it shows you some of the basics of where things are, what to click when. And this is kind of a companion to a tutorial that I made for Piktochart, which is a kind of an online web-based tool for making documents and things like that. The next thing I have is a press release. Now this is a short summary of a research study that an organization might put out if they're really excited about something they did, and they're hoping that a science journalist will pick this up. So the science writer writes a summary of this research study that might be 15 pages long and is more targeted at other people who are working in that field, other researchers, so that they can know what your research is about. This is targeted more at a general public reading level, and it summarizes that and tries to capture the highlights and really get that science journalist sold on go and write about this. So we kind of have a division there within science writing between public relations and science journalism, a little different roles, but they're kind of doing a similar job and similar skill sets. This is a blog post that I wrote for the local chapter of the Sierra Club, and it's based on a research study that was done, I think it was in Nature, and it's about trees. How many forests we have, how many trees, how many we had 100 years ago, how many we have today, things like that. And it was very interesting. We had some interesting results, and so I wrote a little kind of general interest story about it that was boiled down to 600 words or so. And I have some other examples of kind of science writing that gets more readership than something like this. And of course, I always like seeing science articles and things like New York Times Magazine, and then these kind of the science genre publications like Popular Science, Scientific American, things like that. And then of course, people do longer form. They do nonfiction science books like Elizabeth Kolbert, and this is a Pulitzer Prize winning nonfiction book. It's very well researched and cited and everything, but it's also really a good read and very interesting. Another one that I really like is Lydia Pine, and she writes about anthropology and things like that. And again, I just encourage you to pick these up. You can we don't have any bookstores anymore in central Cincinnati. We do have a great library, so you can stop by and check those out. And thank you for joining me.